Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are making Semlor, which are Swedish Lenten buns. They're eaten pretty commonly throughout February in the lead up to Lent, but most often eaten on Shrove Tuesday or Fat Tuesday. They're such a delicious seasonal treat that you can really only get in these winter months. The Swedish version consists of a delicious soft bun, almond paste, and then whipped cream. I mean, how could you not want to eat that whole thing and more? All right, let's make some buns.
To start with, I have my milk in a measuring cup, and you just want to make sure that this is lukewarm in temperature. And then we're going to take our yeast, and I'm using instant yeast for this. You can also use active dry or fresh yeast, and a tiny bit of the sugar that this recipe calls for. And I'm mixing that all together in that measuring cup. We're going to let this mixture sit for at least 10 minutes. And then once it's foamed up, you know that the yeast is working and we can continue with the dough. I'm going to mix it in my stand mixer, but you can also do this in a bowl or hand. So in the stand mixer, throwing the yeast and the sugar as well as an egg and an egg yolk. And it's time to add some flavor. So we're adding cardamom, vanilla extract, and of course some salt. I probably should have mixed the rest of it before adding the flour, but the flour's going in, and then I'm using the dough hook to knead this together in the bowl of the stand mixer. I also added this butter a little bit too late, so it took a really long time to incorporate. But when you add in the butter, the dough should become nice and soft. If it is a little sticky, make sure to add some more flour until it pulls away from the sides of the bowl, and then you should be left with a very nice soft dough that's kind of Play-Doh-y in consistency, but then it's ready to go. Back into the bowl, and we're going to cover it and let it rise for at least 45 minutes to an hour. Once the dough has pretty much doubled in size and it indents pretty easily when you poke it, it's time to shape the buns. I'm taking the dough and dividing it into 12 equal pieces with a bench scraper. And then we're going to smooth out the buns by rolling the dough on a unfloured surface. So as you can see, when you roll the dough, a little baby intermission. When you roll the dough on a surface like this, it creates a nice round ball that will then make a great bun. Then once they are all shaped, we're going to put them on a baking sheet. Mine is lined with a silicone mat, but you can also use parchment paper, and then we're going to cover those and let those rise. And toward the end of rising time, I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 176 degrees Celsius. And the last step before these buns go in the oven is to brush the outside of the buns with an egg wash, which is just one egg beaten with a little bit of water in a bowl, and then you can use a brush to brush it on. The buns are going to bake for around 12 minutes, and they're going to come out of the oven super golden and perfectly round looking. Then I'm transferring those to a cooling rack so that they can fully cool down while we work on the fillings for these buns. This recipe calls for 250 grams of marzipan. You can use store-bought or you can make your own. It's very simple. We do have a recipe on our website and on YouTube, so I'll link it on the screen and in the description. But it's very simple. It's almond flour, powdered sugar, almond extract, and some water. And then you just mix it together and eventually knead it together, either by hand or in a food processor, until it comes together. And then your marzipan is ready to go. It's kind of also a little bit Play-Doh-y in consistency, honestly. Then we're going to add butter into this marzipan mixture. It's going to take a little bit of work to get the butter mixed into the marzipan, but then you'll have a very nice buttery marzipan to add into the bottom of the buns. It's one of our favorite fillings. And if you're still here, we're on to the next thing, which is making whipped cream. This is also quite simple, and I am going to use my stand mixer, but you're adding heavy whipping cream, a little bit of vanilla, some sugar to the bowl of stand mixer, and then whisking it together. And we're going for stiff peak so that it can pipe very nicely onto the buns. And then we're going to add it to our piping contraption. You can definitely use a piping bag. I have this tube contraption, so that's what I'm using. And then once the buns are cooled, we are finally assembling. So we cut out a hole in the center. You can also make these triangle shaped, I've seen. And then I like to remove a bit of the filling of the bun and eat it. And then add in around a tablespoon of the marzipan filling, and then add a very generous layer of whipped cream. And that's the bun assembled. And then you just repeat for all 12 buns, and then you'll have a feast for your friends and family. They're like little buns with hats. So cute.
It's time for a taste test. There's no elegant way to eat this. That's a great bun. It's hard to go wrong with cardamom, almond, and whipped cream. Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you try to make Semlor this year. Let us know if you try this recipe in the comments below. The full recipe is, as always, linked in the description or at the end of the video. We'll see you for the next video. Bye!